Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 15 of my show, but this is about Episode 14 of Season 3. Now, Episode 14 in the original Power Rangers 3rd season is known as the final face-off. Now, but before I start talking about it, I just want to mention, just to clear up any confusion, this is not the final episode. It's actually called that because of the monster the Rangers are going to fight now in this episode that I'm going to talk about. And also, the monster that they're going to fight is sort of similar to how the first season began with Rita being prison in a dumpster. Now, I'm just referencing that now just because I wanted to reference it since I brought it up. But anyway, basically what happens is, first what happens is the Rangers are, now I'm going to get into the actual episode here. First what happens is basically the Rangers are at this exhibit, basically this Kamala sort of exhibit, which is basically a cultural exhibit, and they're talking to the woman in charge of the exhibit. But before I continue, I just want to mention we're talking about episode 14, so that means, well, no, I'm gonna wait until I get to episode 23 to mention that part. But anyway, as I was getting back into what I was saying earlier, she's mentioning to the people in the museum exhibit that because she's showing them all these different artifacts that are in the museum, and then basically then she shows them the urn, and then she tells them that the urn basically houses a powerful is what imprisons a powerful creature in Kamalan legend known. Now, this is what I mean when I say the name of this episode is called Final Face Off. It's actually because of the monster, why it's called that. The monster that's trapped in the urn in the exhibit is known as the Face Stealer monster, which, as his name perfectly states, he has basically the ability to take a person's whole face, leaving them like a blank mannequin kind of thing. And apparently, according to the legend as it was stated by the owner of the exhibit in this episode, and as it's mentioned by Billy, apparently the people of the Kamalan culture were terrorized by the Face Stealer monster on the fourth full moon of the year or something like that, and then she said that that's the legend, and then she's also explaining to them that we only, in order to stop the Face Stealer, 5 powerful humans, sort of similar to the Power Rangers, except instead of using powers that they were given, they used these special masks. Now, basically, I'm going to explain about the masks. The masks don't actually give them any special powers or anything. I'll explain what they do now since I brought them up. Apparently, and also since the Rangers are going to use them as a method to battle the Face Stealer monster. But basically, what these masks do is they protect anyone who wears them from the Face Stealer's ability to take a person's face, basically. So it's basically a protection thing. Anyway, and then after that, basically what happens is after Rita overhears that part about the face stealer monster, she's a little intrigued by it, and then basically, what happens is she's a face stealer, huh? That monster seems like something I could use. She figures that the face stealer monster is something that she can use to defeat the Power Rangers, like, once and for all and stuff like that. And then when Zed overhears that, he's like, that's a nice plan, Rita, but you're forgetting one thing. It's just a legend. And then he basically tells her that she'll believe anything, and then after that, she tells him that, that's all you want. You need your face, radiate your face. The fourth full moon of the year is tonight. I'll use that face stealer monster and steal the Power Rangers faces, and then we'll see who's the one who'll be laughing. So she basically, what happens is she sends Rito and the Tengas down to the Kaman exhibit in the museum to steal the urn that had the face stealer monster trapped inside of it. And then basically, but before I continue, I just want to mention something, in a sense with Bulk and Skull's character. I'm just gonna backtrack to them here because it's actually a bit of a funny thing that happens, not in the actual episode, but in the bloopers for it. They say about the face stealer monster being trapped in the earth. I just wanted to backtrack to that blooper because I just figured it was funny, so I thought I'd bring it up. Oh my god, I'm sorry. But anyway, so Rito, as I said, Rita sends Rito and some Tengas down to the earth in order to steal the urn which contains the face stealer monster. And then that's when Zordon contacts the Rangers about it. And then the Rangers basically, not technically morph to their Ranger forms, but they basically transform to their ninja equivalent of their Ranger forms, which basically is by saying the Ninja Ranger Power Now thing. And then basically what happens is they battle Rito and the Tengas, and then Rito is saying that then while they're fighting the Tengas, Rito uses that as an opportunity to enter the museum in order to get the urn which contains the face stealer monster inside of it. But I'm just gonna mention something very quickly here because it's actually kind of funny. When Rito is having the Tengas fight the Rangers, he said that the Rangers won't be able to beat them this time, and then I can't remember which one of them, but I think it might be Tommy in this episode. He says that all the time, and then I just wanted to backtrack there to that part since not that I missed it, but I kind of skipped over it, but I figured I'd backtrack to it anyway. So basically, Rito then manages to get his hands on the urn, and then he and the Tengas escape from the Rangers, and then basically, the Rangers are wondering what that was about, and then basically what happens is then Rito shows back up on the palace, in the palace on the moon with the urn that he and the Tengas stole from the museum, and they release the face stealer monster from the urn. And then when the face stealer monster, after the face stealer monster is released, that's like, what's with all the racket? And then basically, after the face stealer monster is freed from his urn, he's like, "Who dares awaken me from my 1,000-year deep slumber?" And then when Zed hears that, he's like, "You call that a deep sleep? That's a nap where I come from." Oh, which is technically kind of funny because basically Zed's from outer space, so essentially what the face stealer monster considers a deep sleep, which is like 1,000 years, is like a nap to him. So it's an analogy kind of thing, because like I said, what someone thinks is something else is also something different to someone to another person. So it's just a slight thing I just wanted to get out of the way there with the episode. And then when Rita sees the monster, she's impressed by it, and then Zizzy, "You mean that's the face stealer?" And then basically, that's when Rita and said send the face stealer monster back down to Earth in order to defeat the Rangers by basically taking their faces. Oh my god. And then the Rangers are back in the command center. The Rangers are wondering what the situation is with that face stealer monster and if it can really steal faces and stuff. Because by this point, and then that's when the face stealer monster shows back up on Earth, and then the Rangers go to deal with the face stealer, and then when the face stealer monster first encounters them, he's like, "Step away, villagers! I need to enter your village to collect faces!" And then, because by this point the Rangers have already morphed to their Ranger forms in order to deal with the face stealer, and while they're fighting the face stealer monster this time, Adam and Aisha get zapped while they're in their Ranger form, and their human faces get stolen, but it doesn't show it in while they're fighting, they're in their Ranger form, so it's not actually shown. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, their faces actually come off from as a spectral effect kind of thing. But anyway, after the Rangers see what happened with the face stealer monster, they decide to regroup by going back to the command center. And then basically what happens is when the Rangers are back in the command center, what happens is they're taking Adam and Aisha's helmets off, but when this is the creepy part, because when they take them off, they realize that they don't have their faces. Like, their head part of their body is there, but their face part of their head isn't, which kind of makes sense because the monster is known as the face stealer, so technically it makes sense. Anyway, getting back into it, they're wondering how they can defeat that monster that has the ability to steal faces and stuff. And then basically, that's when Billy mentions that didn't the museum curator say that that 5 warriors defeated the face stealer monster using special masks to protect them from his face stealing power, and then one of them, I think it might be Tommy or Kimberly, but one of them says that he's right. Oh, but Rocky says that he doesn't know if the legend is true about those masks at all. but Billy says that the legend was right about the face stealer monster's ability to steal faces, so they need to protect themselves to make sure that they don't get their faces taken by the face stealer. So basically what happens is the Rangers then go to the Kamala exhibit, and they talk to Sumire when then they talk to the Kamala exhibit curator, and she's wondering what they're doing there, and then they explain that the face stealer's on the loose, and because basically what happens is they show up and they try to take the masks as a way to protect themselves, and then that's when she shows up and she wonders what they're doing there. And as I said, one of the Rangers, I think it's Tommy in his Ranger form, is telling her that the face stealer monster is showing up and is attacking Angel Grove. And then when she hears that part of it, she's a little upset that the face stealer monster has been released from the urn from which he was trapped. And then the Rangers explain to her that they need to borrow the masks from the museum in order to defeat the face stealer. And then they'll explain that they'll give them right back. And then basically they teleport to where the face stealer monster is again. And then basically when they show up where the face stealer monster is, he sees them again and he tries to take their faces, but then he sees that they have that they have the masks that the 5 warriors used to defeat him and trap him in that urn. And when he sees that, he gets startled by it. And when Tommy sees that he gets startled by that, he's like, I get the feeling he's seen these masks before. And then the face stealer monster is like, how dare you show those masks in my presence? And then basically what happens is, when the face stealer monster tried to use it to steal their faces, the masks protect the Rangers from having their faces taken. And then after that, Rita and Zed then make the face stealer monster grow, and then the Rangers fight it in the Megazord, and technically they don't destroy this monster, but they trap it back in the urn. They seal it back in the urn from where it was trapped the first time, and when the face stealer monster gets trapped in the urn again, he's like, no, not again, and then the Rangers, one of the Rangers, I think it's Tommy, manages to put the lid on the face stealer monster's urn to keep it closed again. And then Zed and Rita get upset that the face stealer monster lost. And then the Rangers return to the Kamala exhibit in the museum. And then that's when Bulk and Skull see them. And then basically, Skull's wondering if the Rangers stolen, and they say that Bulk says that they didn't. They probably used the urn to defeat the monster and stuff. And then that's when Bulk and Skull stop the Rangers from returning it, and then they say that they'll take it from there. And then they go to return the urn and the masks, and then the security guards in the museum arrest them because they had reports of it being stolen and stuff. Like, not really security, but like, and then after that, basically what happens is, the exhibit curators telling the Rangers that they're glad that she's glad the face stealer monster has been captured and placed back in the urn, and he's been put under tight security to make sure he doesn't escape again. And then the Rangers are all happy that the face stealer monster has been trapped in the urn again. And then that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And I will see you guys probably not tomorrow for the next video, because I think I'm going to day program tomorrow, because we're alternating the days for right now for which houses go which days and stuff. So if not tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow for the next video. So until then, guys, like I always tell you with this series, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.